Welcome back from your spring break, everybody. I hope you had a relaxing week off. We're going to get back into the second half of this semester by starting with your midterm. And the midterm is, I don't think it's going to be too challenging if you've been keeping up with your coursework, but I did want to run over some of the things that will be on there, what you should kind of prepare to be assessed on. So for starters, you're just going to want to go back through any articles or videos that I've shared with you. You want to know the content from those assets. For starters, I want you to know the difference between developers, programmers, and designers, and the different kind of roles of those jobs and skills necessary, and what's expected from people in those positions. Also, I want you to know the difference between Android apps and iOS apps. Know what's different about those, and what kind of different challenges they present for designers and developers and programmers. Know what scripting languages we're going to use in Android versus iOS. So know those types of things. Also, let's see. I want you to know. Let's see. Know the different categories of apps. So you could watch this video, and this one also. Just know the different types of apps and the different categories, and what kinds of apps would fall into those different categories. Know what the difference between a compiler and an interpreter is, and what we use those for. Know what it is happening when something you've written is compiled or interpreted. Make sure you understand just the idea of moving from a higher level language to a lower level language, and know the difference between the way that a compiler works and an interpreter works. A compiler is going to take all the code in one chunk and convert it, whereas an interpreter is going to go line by line. Let's see. Know a little bit about color theory. Remember, we went over color theory in these videos. Kind of watch through those and know about hexagonal color codes and some of the psychology behind color theory. This is the video about compiler and interpreters. You may want to watch through that again. Know about the light spectrum, or know the three different colors that are going to go into mixing to make the color in a pixel. So it's going to be red, green, and blue, are the three colors that are mixed together in your pixels to create the colors that you see on your screen. Know the difference between vector and raster graphics. Okay, that's very important for you to understand. Know the function of Photoshop versus the function of Illustrator. Make sure you can understand sort of the different, and just the assignments that you've done. Make sure that you understand the tools that you use. So when you did your Photoshop and your Illustrator simple assignments, like when we created the star or the images here using Illustrator, or when you erase the background in Photoshop to create these images, know the tools that you use for those assignments, and be able to locate those on the screen if necessary. Know the difference between design and development. Your designer is going to be more in charge of the feel of the app that you're making, the way that it looks, the experience, the user experience going on, whereas the developer is going to make that stuff happen. The designer designs, and the developer actually takes that design and makes it real by using the tools that we've studied. Know the difference between sales figures for Android versus iOS. So, the idea is that Android is on way more devices, but iOS generates way more revenue. So you're going to want to know that when you take the midterm. me see if there's anything else in particular that I haven't covered that I would want you to make sure that you've covered for, really know the difference between the raster and vector images and the properties of those things. Make sure you go through the color theory and color rule information that I shared with you. And if you do that, and if you've been keeping up with your work in here, I think you'll be fine taking this midterm. You do have to have it proctored, so make sure you go into the testing center. There's a password that will allow you access to the assignment. So when you go into the testing center, they'll have that password, and all you have to do is go to the bottom of assignments, and it's going to say ITD 120 midterm. You'll click on that. And then you'll click to take the midterm. They'll enter in the password, and it shouldn't take you very long. It's multiple choice predominantly, as the questions are. And so, I really am not trying to play gotcha with this midterm. If you've been covering your information, you should be fine. And then your new assignments for the beginning of this term, of this half of the semester, will be up for you shortly this week. And look forward to finishing this semester out. You guys are doing a great job. Keep it up.